Olá, dando continuidade às minhas séries Vídeos sob demanda, hoje eu falarei sobre Síndrome do Pânico. Eu vou trazer o depoimento corajoso da atriz Kim Bassinger. E eu quero tocar um ponto especial para afastarmos um pouco a questão de o quanto que a Síndrome do Pânico, estresse, depressão, etc. são coisas ruins e que é um mal que acometeu a nossa vida. É o seguinte, essas coisas, claro, nos incomodam, atrapalham a nossa vida. Por outro lado, nos produz um aprendizado para onde queremos ir, o que estávamos fazendo, que sentido daremos agora para a nossa vida, por que caímos nessa, o que aconteceu, quais são nossos limites. Isso é muito importante para um viver mais saudável. Até breve.
When I was a little kid, I would have a horrendous time being called on to read. To literally have to stand up and look at that page and read those words out loud in front of all those kids. I literally would start shaking and sweating and not being able to breathe and come close to fainting. I would go home and say, I can't go back again. I can't, not even to face the class. I just couldn't go back. I just didn't want to go. Fear has been something that I've lived with my entire life, especially fear of being in public places, fear of fear. Fear that fear would come. And once you have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, you never want to go there again. But as I got older and in my 20s, that's when I had my first, what you would call a panic attack. And I was in a health food store. I'll never forget this as long as I live. You know, I was a regular customer and I knew everybody there. And all of a sudden, it was like everything became silent. I could see people's mouths moving, but there was nothing inside my head other than, and I looked down at my hands and my hands were shaking and I was sweating so profusely and I could not move. I could not walk. My knees would not move. I thought, yeah, I am dealing with a physical situation here. I am breathing very deep, deep breaths and trying to get my breath. And then I made my way out of these doors that, thank goodness, they automatically opened. And I got out into the parking lot and made it to my car. And I remember getting the keys in the ignition, cranking the car up, taking this back road to my home and parking my car and not leaving for 6 months. I stayed in my house and literally cried every day. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know how to define this. You feel so isolated, so alone, so scared, so, you know, I just kept talking to God saying, help me. You know, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. You're so very involved with the fear that might hit you at any time. You feel like you're in an open field and there's a tornado coming at you, you know? I mean, that's basically the way you feel. And you're just consumed by it. I wasn't about to go on in my life. I'd rather, you know, at that point in my life, and you know, I love life. I'm crazy about life. I'm crazy about the future. I'm crazy about everything I haven't experienced. But at that point, it was beating me up so badly that, you know, I wasn't sure if I could live in my house the rest of my life. I'm not sure what would be better, to not live at all or to live like this. Well, anything would have been better than living like that. It was absolutely a time when I felt completely paralyzed. The panic, you would all of a sudden, almost like a door shut, and it go, and you don't hear anymore, and you watch people and they're walking slow. You become listening to the inside of yourself. You hear your own breathing, you hear your heart. Your heart is so loud that you think, say, you guys could hear it. And you just profusely start sweating. And if somebody really looked at you, they would think something was wrong with you. I mean, and many times when I had anything like that bad, that's why you stay at home for so long. That's why you don't trust it out there. You cannot trust this out there. I mean, I couldn't go out without feeling like I would just come unwound. So you want to just get up and scream or run, or you just want to whatever. Well, then I started having a few people to dinner at my house. So I'm sitting there at dinner, and all of a sudden, there that whole thing comes where the silence happens, and I watch the people talk, and I get up. So I just, and you go in your bedroom. You go in your bedroom and you just collapse on the bed. And that happens over and over and over again with people. A vow I had to beat this or befriend it or, you know, educate myself or live with it the rest of my life, but at least the two of us would somewhat be combative at some times and maybe peaceful at others. I don't know. I had no idea who to call. I mean, I didn't perceive this as a medical problem. I thought it was just something that I personally had by myself and I was going to have to deal with, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. And they were talking about agoraphobia on the radio. It's the way God works. It's amazing. And I thought, the panic started in my head like, what if there is a doctor? What if there's somebody that can help me? Then that means I would have to get dressed and walk out the door and get in the car. Anyway, make a long story short, we got on the phone, and I got this wonderful, wonderful man called Dr. Ronald Doctor. Yeah, it's funny. But I remember him so well. I'll never forget him as long as I live. And I walked in that door, and I sat down, and I found someone who knew what this was about. And he unraveled such a mystery for me.
From my point of view, I have to get into how they live their lives, who they are, how they feel inside, and relate to them, and get close to them. I think just dealing with symptoms doesn't address the person. It's like getting a car wash. Dr.
never really, he didn't prescribe drugs, so it was not a matter of medications. My therapy was about awareness and education. And it lessened for me those horrible panic attacks. I mean, you have to understand how taxing it is physically to have these. You're just absolutely mentally and physically gone, exhausted.
People feel very alone with this problem, and they feel, and it destroys their self-esteem because they can't do what they'd like to be able to do and function the way they want to function. So to have somebody understand it and give them
Vamos ajudar doando conhecimento?